New at the cinemas this week, or new in the box office at number 3, is No Escape. So, before this film, we were kind of like, we didn't know which way it was going to go, but we were kind of excited because of one little part of the trailer which got us. And if you've seen the trailer, you'll probably know what we're talking about, because the rest of it's fairly standard, and then you get this bit comes along and you think, what?
Yeah,
and this is No Escape.
If you have seen the trailer, there's a bit where they have to where Owen Wilson's character has to throw his kid over a bridge, over a building,
like a gap between two buildings, yeah.
to obviously to save to get them away from the terrorists, which we'll get to. But
Joe's even laughing now. I just thought of it.
It's probably one of the most unintentionally funny.
And then for some reason, as he throws it, it'd be fine if they just threw it and there was like catch it and that's it, move on. Be a good little intense scene, but it's in slow motion. Why is it in slow motion? Oh, but then I'll say so. No, right?
It's not meant. I think it's probably one of the biggest unintentionally funny scenes. It really is.
It's the way he just goes like, "What you gonna call your dog?" Whoosh.
And then there's just the close-ups.
We'll get to it. Owen's just No Escape, directed by John Eric Dowdle, starring Owen Wilson and Lake Bell as a couple of parents who have, because of Owen Wilson's job, he's working with a water company, he has to move to Southeast Asia and sort of live in a hotel there with his new family. Owen Wilson's obviously most famous for his funny roles, he's a funny man.
And his nose.
Yeah, and his nose, of course, and his voice.
And his whispering voice.
I can't do it, you can.
Owen Wilson.
Wow.
I'm Owen Wilson.
Wow. Yeah, so typical Owen Wilson. So it's good to see him try something different. I did kind of like the look of the trailer apart from that part. So basically, there's a political uprising going on at the same time, and Owen Wilson's family are caught in the midst of that because rebels are coming and they're gonna sort of take over the country and sort of free it. They're killing all the foreigners and all the Americans. So it's up to Owen Wilson to save his family. He's helped by Pierce Brosnan, who plays a character called Hammond, who's also there. He's sort of an expat. He goes there a lot, and he's got to help them get out. And basically, it is exactly as the film says. It's about trying. Well, they do escape. That's no spoiler.
Not really.
Not a spoiler at all, because it's just
because in these films, where are the stakes?
Yeah,
these kind of films don't have stakes.
Because Pierce Brosnan is a man who is desperately trying to get over the Bond shadow. We've seen him in quite a few.
He's probably still trying to get rid of Mamma Mia shadow.
Yeah,
actually.
there was that awful film he was in earlier this year that was like sort of Bond light, and then there was he played a villain in November Man last year, which was supposedly like trying to echo the Bond. I think he does need a break free if he's gonna, because he was a decent Bond, I thought, but you just got to get away from that. But No Escape, with a talented cast and the fact that Owen Wilson is playing the straight guy, I kind of did like him in that, because he has talent. The man has talent. He's one of those characters that sometimes isn't bad stuff, but he clearly has talent. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in the role he is in today. He wouldn't be that. But I think that No Escape is probably the best way to describe it, as like a B movie with a big budget, because that's exactly what it is. It's just it's a fast-paced, frenetic sort of action thriller that never lets up one bit. It's always going from one part to another, and obviously there are leaps of logic, and you will have to sort of suspend literal leaps and suspension of disbelief. But even though the characters are completely one-dimensional and they're cutouts, and they try to do this family drama that you just don't really care about, and obviously there is a bit of a strange worldview going on in it, but you don't care really, because it is just a bit of it's just fun. It's not a good film, I would say, but it is just, for what it is, it's just a B movie, schmaltz. It's just what you want to get from like sort of what we're expecting. That scene that we said in the trailer, it is really, really bad.
Really bad.
But just the fact that it cuts to Owen Wilson's face, so much slow motion, but it's not a terrible film. It's just it's fun B movie, I guess.
It's so weird though, because from the opening, the opening titles, obviously I won't say what happens, but the opening titles will come up in red and everything, and there's blood, and you're like, oh, it's going to be like a B movie. It's going to be okay, but then it's just, I don't know, it's just like really.
It doesn't have the B movie feel all the way.
I think maybe if they didn't have such a big budget, they could have done something more.
It actually wasn't that big. It was only $5 million.
Is that it?
That's all it is. I suppose that's good on them to make it look like it was more expensive.
Well done on that, but I don't know. It was a strange little film. It's
worth it to go and die laughing.
For that, we were in fits on that. That was very funny.
It's the most unintentionally funny film I've seen this year.
It didn't.
It's
like,
so
I've
strangely
seen,
funny. Like,
I've seen people call it one of the most like sort of tense films of the year.
Nah.
Like always on the edge of your seat. I was kind of slumped in the back of mine. Like, just
There's
when's
some-
this finished?
There's some very weird scenes as well.
Yeah.
Like the scene where I'm not going to say what happens, but the scene with Blake, like what's his name,
Lake Bell.
Blake Bell, and the family's kind of hidden.
who are you thinking of? Like Drake Bell.
Drake Bell, Drake and Josh in No Escape.
I'd pay for that.
Boobs. You boobs. But I won't say what happens, but there's a scene where they're kind of huddled and they're obviously hiding away from the big
Yeah.
rebels who we don't actually learn anything really from.
No, we don't.
Except from the motive, that's literally it.
They really
Okay.
get sloppy towards the end, don't they?
Yes, they do. Like
Mhm.
ridiculously. There's moments when
Like they're barely
yeah,
hiding.
There's so many like.
literally light shining on them when they're meant to be hidden, and you're like, how the hell are you not seeing that? But like, I won't say what happens, but yeah, it's a really strange little scene where they're huddled under some like debris and a body and stuff, and it's just like it's a weird little scene.
It's a weird film.
It's
as you said, yeah.
it's so strange.
For what it is, it was a good little watch for how short it is. But I mean, there's nothing really that special about it. It's just really one-dimensional characters and villains that have very little motive other than kill the foreigners.
Is it racist?
No, it's not racist.
It's not
because I mean, this kind of stuff is happening in sort of
Actually,
Asian
it's
countries.
more xenophobic.
I mean,
if it is,
I don't think you can really be racist unless you're like trying to be, unless it's clearly like sort of like the divide between fiction and reality is like not as clear as it should be. If you're gonna have like a story in this film that's clearly sort of fictional, then you really do think, and it's poetic and artistic license, really, isn't it? Like, I mean, it can be seen as racist, and I understand why, but I think just as a motivation for the villains and the story, you know, it's just not a very good
Not really.
motivation.
I mean,
I personally wasn't offended because of how dull it was.
Yeah.
I couldn't really get passionate about it.
I mean, we're stuck. Obviously, if we're going to stick with a family, and that's it, fair enough. But there's nothing really interesting in it. They're just escaping, and the escape scenes aren't really that like meh.
No.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like, okay. There's no real tension because I didn't feel tension.
Recommend or not?
For B movie average thrills, I mean, it's not going to be in my worst films of the year, but it's just not.
It's not really meh. It's in betweenish.
it's
I mean, it's got
okay.
like, what's it got on?
43%.
43. It's not. Yeah.
That's probably fair.
I did like Owen Wilson. Actually, I did think he was
Yeah.
good. I'm just glad he didn't go on the Taken route and be like badass dad.
Yeah.
I don't know where I can't do that. That speech in Owen Wilson's voice would be the best. I will find
but
you.
I will find
And
you.
I will kill you. No, but I mean, for what it is, it was a decent watch. You know, just B-movie thrills, decent scares. You know, not scares. I mean, like action, I guess. And Pierce Brosnan's not terrible.
That's my recommendation. Meh.
Pierce Brosnan.
Take from that what you will.
Pierce Brosnan as a Cockney. Go see
Yeah.
it.
Badly as well.
Yeah.